As you know, I'm Kyneton the Genius, and today we are going to be continuing with day 4 on our Python in 10 days. If you are joining for the first time, hit the subscribe button below this video so that you don't miss any update when I make new lessons. And also activate notification, because there is a notification icon, a bell icon beside the red subscribe button. Click on it so you activate notification and don't miss any update when a new lesson comes out. If you've come this far, you are doing quite well. What are we going to be learning today? We are going to be looking at Python loops. Now, Python supports two kinds of loops, the for loop and the while loop. And there are also two important statements you need to learn about. This is the break statement and the continue statement. Now, this is very important because loops help you to execute statement a number of times. So let's get into the classroom and let's get going. If you look behind me, you'll see a whiteboard. So we are actually not making a joke. This whiteboard is for day 5, where we are going to be doing simple maths in Python, and this is going to prepare for data science in 10 days, which is going to be the series after Python in 10 days. So if you are joining for the first time, hit the subscribe button below this video so that you get notified when a new day comes, because these days are not consecutive. Before I continue, let me just teach you one thing in Python, how to change the backgrounds, the background colors and colors of text in your editor. All right. So for now, I'm going to move to day 4 because we are right now in day 4. So I'm going to right click and create a new file for day 4. Day 4 is going to be loops. In day 4, we are going to be considering loops. So let me call the name of the file loops. So as I mentioned, the first thing you do when you write a program is to put your name there. Let me just teach you something very important you need to know when you are editing a program or you're writing a code. That is to change the appearance, the color scheme of your editor. So in this case, you go to File and go to Settings and go to Appearance and Behavior. Go to Appearance and change from IntelliJ to Darkula. Darkula is kind of a dark background, but we are not done. Just apply it for now. Yeah, so it looks something like this, but we are not done. The next thing you want to do is to go to Editor. Under Editor, go to General, not General, go to Color Scheme, and at this point, change it to High Contrast and apply. So that is how to change the background of your editor, but we are not done. Let's change the fonts to be something a little bigger. So from 16, let's change it to 18. Okay, apply. Okay, I think it makes more sense at this point. So that's how to change the settings. So let's now move into our program for the day. Again, just go to KynetonTheGenius.com, KynetonTheGenius.com/Python. So at this point, you simply scroll to loops. Now, Python in 10 days is also here, but Python in 10 days will be completely ready at the end of this series. So for now, just go to loops. So you can find the code snippet that you are going to be using for the classes in Python in 10 days. So just scroll down a bit. Okay, this is loops. Now, I'm not going to spend time to read all this. We are going to simply demonstrate what a loop is. A loop is used to execute a program a continuous number of times. For instance, you want to print out all the even numbers from 1 to 20. You want to print out all the numbers divisible by 10 from 1 to 100 and stuff like that. You want to continually keep asking a question. That's what loops is for. Let's demonstrate it. Now we have two kinds of loops. We have the for loop, we have the while loop. We also have nested loops. A loop inside a loop is called a nested loop. And then we are going to be talking about 3 important statements: the break, the continue, and the pass statement. If you know all these, you are good to go with Python loop. So while loop, it simply goes this way. While loop goes this way. While, if you write the while statement, then you specify the expression to test. If this expression is tested to be true, then the loop is going to execute, or what is called the body of the loop will execute. For instance, in this case, I'm going to say while I is less than 11, and I'm going to assign I to be 1, okay, or to be 0. So at the first time, it's going to check while I is less than 11, and in this case I is less than 11, it's going to execute whatever I say. I'm going to say print I. So it's going to first check, is I less than 11? If I is less than 11, it's going to print I. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to increment or increase the value of I to be I plus 1. Alright? So in the next iteration, because if a loop executes, it's called an iteration. If it executes again, it's called it's a second iteration, and so on. So at the first time it prints I, which is 1. At the second time, I becomes 2, because we are saying I plus 1. Then it goes back to again to check, is I less than 11? Yes, because it's 2. It executes again. It continues to check and continues to increase the value of I and continues to execute until I becomes 11 or more. So once I is not less than 11, the loop is going to terminate. So if the loop terminates, we now print. So this is going to print or execute when the loop terminates, because it's not indented on the same indentation level. So it means it's going to print outside the loop once the loop is over. So I'm going to just say the end. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is to just right click and I'm going to run it. Run loops. After now, we are going to be doing a simple guessing game. It's going to be interesting because this simple guessing game combines what we've learned from the 1 to 4. And it's going to be really very interesting. So I recommend don't give up, continue to follow all the way to the end. So while the loop executes, you can see it prints out numbers 1 to 10. So that is how for loop or while loop works. So you can also increase this, maybe I plus 2 is going to print out all the even numbers from 1 to 10. So if I run it at this point, it's going to display, or it's going to print out even numbers because I have I plus 2. Okay, let's go to something different. So let's talk about for loop. For loop tend to be a shorter way of doing things. So in this case, if you want to do the same thing we did, you simply say for I in range 1 to 11. So if you actually want to print 1 to 10, you're actually going to say range 1 to 11, because the last item in the range is not inclusive. And you put semicolon, you put the colon and then print I. So it's going to give us exactly the same thing that we did with the while loop. So I'm going to also put a final statement that executes when the loop completes. So I'm going to say print Alright, so this is what we have. If I run it at this point, it's going to display 1 to 10, and you can see that this is a shorter way of doing it. So for loop is very good, while loop is also good, but while loop have some advantages that you are going to see after now. We also have a nested loop. In this case, you want to print out something repeatedly for each iteration. So what I'm saying is this. Let me just paste this. So okay, so here we have for I is in range 1 to, let me say just say 1 to 5, so that for each time 1 is printed, we are going to print another 1 to 5. So I'm going to put a statement. Why do we have this? I is equal to, I think it should be like this. So I'm going to put a statement here that says print inner loop. So we have a loop that is inside the another loop. So this inner loop is going to execute, is going to run all its iteration for each execution of the outer loop. So this outer loop is running from 1 to 5. So for one outer loop, the inner loop is going to execute 1 to 6, right? So let's run it and see. I recommend you do this yourself. Also try to change up things a bit just to see how it works. So I'm going to run at this point. So let's see what we have. Okay, so it says there is an error. Okay. Cannot concatenate. Okay, so
Okay, so as I told you, just say str. Okay, so technologies. So let's just print I. Okay, so run. So for each execution of the outer loop, the inner loop is going to run a number of times. So now let's talk about the break statement. So for instance, if you want to, let's say, execute the outer loop, and at some point, let's say at a point, let's say the first iteration, you want it not to execute it, or you want when a condition is reached, it's going to terminate the loop. A break statement is used to completely terminate a loop and continue execution with statement after the loop. So if something happens, you want to just terminate this loop, maybe for some condition, use a break statement. Continue statement is used to terminate the current execution of the loop and continue the statement after the current execution, right? Okay, the pass statement is also important. I'd like to just mention it. So if you have something like this, you have an error. But let's say you don't have a body of loop for now, but you want just to write your program and later you write the body of the loop. You can use a pass statement. So pass statement indicates that for now we don't know what the body of the loop is going to be, and we want to continue writing other parts of the program. Now we've done enough. Let's now do a simple guessing game. Now it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be writing a simple guessing game. I'm going to show you how it progresses from beginning to end. So this simple guessing game will be this way. Somebody is going to there will be a magic number that will be chosen by the system, and the user of the system will be told to guess this number. What is this magic number? If he gets it, then he wins. If he fails to get it correctly, the system will continually tell him to enter a number. You tell him you are wrong and tell him to enter a number again. So that will be in a loop. Let's try to do something about it. So if you say something like while input enter a number, and I say print you are wrong. So if I run this code, it's going to continue to execute. So what is going to happen is while it asks prompt the user to enter a number, it's going to tell the user you are wrong, and also loop again to ask the user to enter a number. Now if I run this code, you'll see how it works. So the while loop is simply trying to loop. If the user enters a number, it executes the inner loop. It will go back to loop to say enter a number again. So I'm going to say 5, you are wrong, enter a number. 8, you are wrong, enter a number. 9, you are wrong, and so on. Okay, so you have an idea of where we are going. So what we are now trying to do, let's say a magic number. Magic no is equal to 7, and we want the user to guess this magic number. Okay, once he's not getting the correct magic number, then we are going to continue to tell him to enter a number. So I'm going to just come here and say you are okay. So once we enter input, once we are here, okay, so we have while input enter a number. So whatever the user will enter, we are going to assign it to guess. So I'm going to say guess equal to input enter a number. So when the program starts running, we are going to ask the user to enter a number. And that number he will enter is, sorry, let's take out this. So I'm going to say while guess is not equal to magic no. While the guess is not equal to magic no. I'm going to tell the user you are wrong. Let me create some space. So I hope you are following. So I'll say magic number is 7. We want the user to guess this number. So what? And we now say enter a number. If the guess, whatever the user enters is assigned to a variable called guess. So if the guess is not equal to the magic number, not equals means exclamation equal sign. So there is an exclamation. Sorry, it's called comparison operator. Okay, it's a kind of comparison operator. And when it says you are wrong, it's going to go back to. Okay, so once it says you are wrong, we're also going to say yes is equal to input. Alright, so once he's wrong, we are going to give him another opportunity to enter the number. Alright. So let's run it and see. Okay, so I'm going to enter 5. You are wrong. Enter a number, let's say 8. You are wrong, so it continues to loop continually. So let's enter 7 and see. So at this point, when it enter 7, which is the correct number, the program terminates. Okay, so this makes sense a bit, but there is something we need to clean up about this code. If the user enters the correct number, we tell him you won. So when this program terminates, I'm going to print you win. Okay. So once this program, the while loop terminates, it means the user have won because it means he entered the correct number. So I'm going to run this again. Now this is the logic behind game because there are a whole lot of logic that goes behind it. Enter 5 is wrong. Let's enter 9. Let's enter 6 or 3 is wrong. Let's enter 7. So he wins when he enters 7. But one thing you can see from here is there is a situation about game that you cannot continue to have indefinite lifeline. So we need to maybe give a count of 3. If he enters 3 wrong numbers, he loses the game. The game terminates and he will lose the game. So let's see how to achieve that. So it means that we need to maintain a count of how many times the user have entered a wrong number. So I'm going to come here and say int count equals 1. Okay. Right. So once he is wrong at this point, anytime he's wrong, we are going to increase the count by 1. So I'm going to say count equal to count plus 1. Alright. And at the end of the day, there's nothing like int count, just say count is equal to 1. So before it iterates to the next one, or once the loop starts, it's going to check count. If count is up to 3, then he loses. So I'm going to say at this point, if count is equal to 3, if count is equal to 3 comparison, what do? I'm going to simply print you lost, and let me just say oops, you lost. Oops, you lost. And after printing it, remember we talked about the break statement, so we are going to terminate this loop, meaning that we are going to simply terminate the loop, and then it means he loses. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to say break. Okay, break. Alright, so let's see. Okay, so I'm going to try to run this program again. Enter a number 5, 6. So you have to see what is happening here. So it tells the user you lost, and it's also telling the user you won. So we are going to find a way to prevent this from happening. If you have any idea, please mention it. So let me use my own idea because I'm trying to go the long way. Yeah, I can help you get your head around what is happening here. Alright, so once the count is 3, we stop. We end this loop, okay? And so at this point, the only time we are going to display you win, right, is when the count is less than 3, right? We only display it when the count is less than 3. Because when the count is equal to 3, he loses. If this loop terminates or get to this point when the count is less than 3, then it means he wins. So I'm going to put an if statement that says if count is less than 3, if count is less than 3, it means that if the loop comes to this point when the count is less than 3, it means that the magic number was correct before count got to 3. So the loop terminates when the magic number, the guess is equal to the magic number and the count is less than 3. Because if the count ever is equal to 3, he loses and the game ends. But if the game does not come here and the game terminates and comes to this place, we are going to check that count is less than 3. But if count is less than 3, we say you win. If count is greater than 3 or equal to 3, it means he lost, and we are not going to say anything here. Alright, so I'm going to run it at this point. Let's see if we got it correctly. I'm going to enter 3 wrong numbers, and let's see. So 5, 8, and 6. Oops, you lost, right? Alright, let's now make him win at this time, and let's see what is going to happen. So enter a number 5 is the wrong one. Enter a number again 7. So you win. Perfectly okay. Let me show you a different way to approach this program. Now I'm going to take out this oops you lost here. I'm going to just copy it out from there. Okay. So I'm going to put it right here and say else. Now I'm going to recommend you try to do all this yourself and see how it works. I'm going to say else. This. I think it will also work because once the loop terminates at this point, if count is less than 3, it means he won. If count is greater than 3, it means he lost, right? Or if count is equal to 3, because it cannot be greater than 3. Because once count is 3, we are breaking away from the loop. So let's try to see what we have. I'm going to start the program again. So 5, 6, and 8. He lost. That is fine. Let's go again. 5, 8, and 7. Oh, so count is equal to 3. Okay. So he got it correctly at this point, whereas count is less than 3. So I'm going to say if count is equal to 3, not less than 3. If count is equal to 3, that is actually what we are going to be checking. If count is equal to 3, that is when we'll say if count is equal to 3. Let's see, if count is less than 3, you win. If count is less than 3, you win. because now he got it correctly, but he still lost. If maybe count is equal to 3. If count is equal to 3. Okay, so if count is less than or equal to 3, because if he's within 3, he also wins. His only win is greater than 3 that he's going to lose. So if it's less than or equal to 3, he's going to win. So let me go again at this point. Let's see what we have there. Enter a number 5, enter again 8, enter again 7. So he wins. Okay, so that is fine. Let's go again. Let's try to see that he lost and see what happened. So this is how to be a good programmer. You simply play around with the program. It's 8, this is 6, and this is 3. So he won. So in this case, his count is less than or equal to 3. So we are having some issues here. So count, let's start it from 0 at this point. I'm going to go at 0, right? Because that count is equal to 0. For now, we don't have anything. So let's start at 0. So I'm going to go again at this point. Okay, so I'll explain to you where this problem is coming from. Alright, so what is the challenge we are having here is we have guess at this point should be we set guess to nothing, to 0. Okay, so the guess is equal to 0. So while guess is not equal to the magic number, we continue to ask. Okay, so let's run again. Okay, so I'm changing up things a bit. So while guess is not equal to the magic number, we are going to say enter a number, and we are going to say count. Okay, equal to count plus 1. Okay. All right. So okay. So this is what we have. So once guess is equal to the magic number, or once guess, so far as guess is not equal to the magic number, it's going to continue to iterate through this loop. But once guess equals to the magic number, we are going to exit from this loop. And once we exit from this loop, we are going to check whether count is less than or equal to 3. In that case, he won. If it's greater than else, means that count is greater than 3. It means he lost. So let's go again by running this code. Eight. Okay, so we are having some issues. So this is going to terminate if count is equal to 3, break. If count is equal to 3, break. Alright. But if count is not equal to 3, we are going to continue to enter a number. So let's go again. Stop this. So he's only going to win when count is less than 3 and guess is equal to magic no. So this is the only time he's going to win. Else he lost. So let's try again. So now it's correct, he lost. Let's try a situation where he wins. So in this case, we are going to enter a number 5, enter 8, enter 7, you win. So I think the behavior is okay. So take some time to get your head around it, see exactly how it works, see what the logic is going, how the logic works. So we've used break statements, we've used for loop, we've used while loop, and things like that. Now let me just show you one more thing, how to print out a list of items using a loop. So at this point I'm going to write this code right here. Okay. So we have a list of items in a list. Remember a list, I don't know if we've not talked about lists, but let's just take this as an example. So to print out items in a list, you use something called for each statement. So you can say for each item in list 1. For each item in list 1, print item. So to print out this list of items, you are going to say for item in list 1. For item in list 1. So it's not for each. I think this is wrong. So it's actually going to be for item in list 1 and print item. So this item I wrote here, you can actually change it to something else. So it could be for I in list 1, print I, for object in list 1, print object. So if I run it at this point, you'll see that it will give us a list of items in the list, as you can see. Okay, you can also say print list 1 is also okay. It prints out the list as a list. So I'm going to stop this and run it again. So it's going to print out the list as a list as well. So you can see it right here. Alright, so this is about loops in Python. I'd like you to take some time to get your head around it, play around, try to run these codes, change up the things and change up the values in there in the code and run it again to make sure you understand it. Also, I'd like to give you an assignment this time. Use a for loop to solve this guessing game. Use a for loop to solve this guessing game. I'd like to stop here for now and let's brace up for the next class, which is going to be simple maths for programmers or maths made easy. So maths is going to be what we are going to be doing. If you look behind me, you are going to see a whiteboard. This whiteboard was gotten especially for these Python in 10 days. So if you have challenges, leave us a comment below this video and also like this video, subscribe if you've not subscribed, share the video around so that we get as many as possible, because the main thing is to prepare ourselves for data science in 10 days, which is actually our direction. This Python in 10 days is just kind of a preamble. So I'm going to be stopping here. Remain constant the genius, and we see in day 5, which will be maths, simple maths for Python.